let this shit slide and get your lick back. And get your lick back. Get your lick back. If a nigga owe you something, ain't no chit chat. Better stay up out the way, don't get your shit splat. Stop letting this shit slide and get your lick back. And get your lick back. I feel like I'm JX. J-Way. I'm a perfectionist. Adderall got me restless. I'm gone. Run with a wild crew, they get reckless. Young boy, come up off that neck. Into the trends. See you, Lee.
Welcome to Bleachers Speakers. I'm your host, June. I got my boy B. Foster. Before we get into this show, I want to remind everyone to subscribe to Bleachers to Speakers on YouTube and follow us on all the aggregators. Just type in Bleachers to Speakers, FFSN in your search. Make sure that notification bell is on, so when we drop content, you'll get an alert. Boss, we got a final. Lions lose 48-42, and it was kind of ugly, Foster.
Yeah, I mean, it ended up being a shootout. But we were down the entire game. They kind of out the gate, they stepped right in and took command of the game, and they well-coached team, and they outplayed us when it's all said and done.
The offense, their offense looked unstoppable. I don't know if it was just, perfect execution or bad defense. I have to look at it again, but I mean, when Josh Allen is on, he's on. He was throwing plays. He was doing plays that you usually don't coach. You don't coach a quarterback to throw over the middle late, and he was converting. He was being flushed out, throwing across his body over the middle, complete dimes.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead.
On a couple of plays, and I'm talking third downs and stuff, conversions.
Yeah, I mean, he is the he wrote the textbook on improvising, making things happen when the play breaks down, and we just weren't able to do anything with them. Let's see how many he ended up rushing for 68 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
But the crazy part for me is we went into the game talking about how often how they are susceptible to passes, receiving yards from running backs out of the backfield. And they had 2 guys.
They did.
They did.
Mm-hmm.
Ty Johnson, who I think they said we drafted.
Yeah, from Maryland.
Okay, yeah. So he had 5 catches for 114 yards. He looked like a receiver. Every time he caught the ball, I'm like,
30 yards.
The running back? Yeah. I mean, technically his average was 23 yards, but yeah, I mean, that's a ton of yards per catch for a running back. And then James Cook had 6 catches and had a receiving touchdown as well. The linebacking core let us down today. I mean, no Rodriguez, no Anzalone, no Derek Barnes. Those are no Jalen Reeves-Maybin.
Those are your covering linebackers. Those are your linebackers that are best at coverage.
Right. What's his name? Ezekiel Turner, barbecue chicken. He was getting flame broiled out there.
He was getting toasted. I think. Well, when we talk about the Bills offense, there was no weakness. I mean, they made plays down the field. They the tight ends made plays. They were wide open. The running backs were wide open. Josh was making plays with his feet. It just looked like there was nothing the Detroit defense could do, and that was the demise. Like, we needed at least 2 or 3 stops from them getting in the end zone or holding them to a field goal, and it just didn't happen today. It just didn't happen. You're only going to survive so many times on a makeshift defense versus a versatile offense. Like, I want everybody, though, before they start doing, because there was someone, I always go back to Facebook and I watch the reactions. Some of the stuff I've heard, Foster, already, there was one fan that said, I'll never watch another Lions game as long as Campbell's coaching. They said that after the onside kick. I said,
I figured that's probably where it happened.
you're going to miss a lot of football there, sir. I don't think he's going anywhere anytime soon unless he chooses to. So
Those type of people just magically disappear off my timeline. I don't even.
But you know what, Foster? I'm gonna tell you this. The only thing I didn't agree with was the timing of it. I think you had a lot of time on the clock. It was 12 minutes on the clock, and you kicked it too early. Now, other than that, it's one of those plays. If it works, you're a genius.
Yes.
Then it was a fluke play. This hardly happens where you get an onside kick. He tips it to himself and runs to the 5.
Yeah, I
That
mean that was sheer luck the way he because he was in traffic. He tips the ball with one hand, lands, and then he has the perfect
full
momentum
full
to
speed.
nearly score. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that doesn't happen on an onside kick that much to where I mean, if you kick it directly, somebody hit, gets it on a hop and runs, that may happen, and that's rare. But this guy tipped it to himself, caught it, and runs to the 5. That doesn't happen. So I have no problem. The only problem with the call is it was early, but at the same time, if he converts, if you actually convert and get the ball, you look like a genius. But
Yeah, I mean, I think that if you convert that situation, we probably win the game. It still worked out decently because they didn't get an opportunity to. It was better that they score early as opposed to them starting at the 50 and running the clock out. So, I mean, if they're going to score, let them score because we were moving the ball just fine. I mean, we were a near onside kick away from not having a lot of time on the clock, but we had some shots at the end zone. So, but yeah, so yeah, it was tough ball game, but yeah, I think this is what we were. I mean, I think this is the game that we feared, because things just didn't go in our direction today, like the onside kick and a few other situations.
Foster, I knew it would be a lot of points scored. I just knew it.
Yeah,
I knew it. I called it.
What was your prediction?
42-38.
Oh wow, almost had it there.
Yeah, I mean, I just had a feeling it was going to be a lot of scoring, and the reason why is because the Josh Allen, he's going to move the ball, and then on top of that, our weakness is defending the pass. If anything, and then what's crazy about it, Foster, the thing that I thought that we would do well in, we failed in. We did not stop the run. They were running the ball so well throughout whenever they got the ball. I think they might have got stopped twice where one was a loss and the other one was less than 4 yards. Other than that, they were getting 5-6 yards a chunk, and then they were getting, and it's like you're setting Josh Allen up for 2nd and 5, 2nd and 4 every single time. You can't win.
And so when I was looking at the numbers, and when you look at the stats, we're beating them in nearly every category: pass yards, total. No, they have more total yards. But the glaring disparity was in the rush: 197 yards to our 48. This was another game where we were not able to. When you talk about the offensive line versus the two offensive lines, you're looking at a tale of two stories. They had three sacks today. The one guy in the middle, Oliver, I think they said had like 9 pressures by himself. And
that's what I was going to say, Foster. Before you go on, I mean to cut your wisdom, but I want to know Ragnall's PFF after this game, because there was a play where Oliver just ran him over.
Just bull rushed.
The first series of the game, he was the first carry of the game for the Lions.
Didn't look good.
For loss. I mean,
Yeah.
it was like the defensive line controlled the line of scrimmage on the first 2 series for the Lions, and by that time, you're down 14 now.
Yeah. And on the other side of things, I mean, I think we got to Allen a couple times, but that O line is strong.
Yeah, they're like I said, I text you in the middle of the game. I said they're controlling the line of scrimmage on both sides. Like offensively, we're not getting, and I think a lot of it was by design for by Detroit because I don't think they were trying to. I think they was trying to keep him in the pocket at times, and it wasn't. They were trying to do gap discipline, so he had time. And it just they didn't want him to. But when he did break contain, he broke it, and it was like it was just bad. Like the defense looked really, really bad today, and I've been giving them kudos. And usually, uh, most of the season they'll have a bad quarter or two. They had 4 quarters of bad football today, and it was just bound to happen. It was just bound to happen with everything considering. And then he had a gruesome injury to Khalil Dorsey, um, and then you lose your starting corner Carlton Davis, he's out for the second half.
And Ali McNeil.
And you're losing Lee McNeil. And you might lose Lee McNeil for a minute because he had a knee issue and he was frustrated. So that looked serious.
Yeah, and I saw the play after. It looked like he kind of left his feet and landed all that weight landing down awkwardly like that. He
Yeah.
was visibly upset leaving the field. He
Hopefully,
got off on mostly his own power, but
mhm. Yeah. Hopefully it's just hyperextended or something like that or sprained. But that's just tough, man. It's like when you have so many injuries and you continue to lose players during a game, it's just bad. But not making any excuses, the defense just played poor. I mean, I don't know if it's more execution than the calls, but the defense looked back. There was also another another one that said fire Aaron Glenn. I'm like, oh my gosh.
what? Do you he's got the makeshift linebacking core of Quan Alexander. He got burned today too.
He
Yeah,
got
he got burned
pretty
today.
bad.
Jamal Adams, Muhammad. I mean, granted, these are guys that we sung the praises of Muhammad. But yeah, I don't know. He's trying to. Well, first of all, when you talk about the points against on the entire year, I mean we're the top of the league of that. So we still outside of today don't give up a ton of points, but I mean you just got too many guys that are. You got Ezekiel Turner. These are guys that you would have never in a million years knew existed had they not been in a situation where they had to play. But you got a lot of guys that aren't used to playing with each other. I mean, I hate to make excuses, but I mean, at what point are we just going to keep it 1,000 and say that it's not that easy to just throw a whole bunch of stuff at the wall and see what sticks? Like, it doesn't work like that in the NFL, especially against well coached teams like Buffalo.
And there's a lot of teams that a lot of people that just were happy about the loss. And I'm like, everybody has a lot of football to play. You have to win your games as well. Don't just depend on the Lions to lose. I could never be mad at 12-2. I could never be mad at 12-2.
I mean, it's crazy the situation we're in where we have to like we should be able to sit comfortably knowing that we're 12-2 and had won 10 games or something, 11 games in a row.
Yeah.
But gotta pray the Vikings lose today.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they still have a schedule to play. They still got to win their games. It's just not all on us. And then there's teams like Philly. Now, Philly won. I think they won today.
They did. They beat the Steelers.
They beat a pretty good Pittsburgh Steelers team. So they still have to win the rest of their games. You know what I'm saying? We still have to, and if they win the rest of their games, we win the rest of our games. We still I mean, the ball's in our court, and I like our chances. I feel good about Chicago game coming up. I feel good about the Frisco game, and I definitely feel good about the Vikings at home. So
we're gonna, not to be ahead of ourselves, but I think we're gonna destroy the 49ers.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's all on us. And like I said, you guys got to win your games too. Uh, so it's a lot of football to be played, and I wouldn't dare be worried or upset after one game. Like we played good ball all year. We've had one. We entitled to a bad game.
Do we? So we have the tiebreaker on Philly.
Yes, they mentioned that earlier.
How did that happen again?
I don't know, but they
The
mentioned it.
points, or
I don't
I
know
think
what
it's I think it's opponent. I think it has something to do with opponents or something like that. Dave, I want to say Dave was the one that let us
I
know
don't
that.
know. They mentioned it today.
Oh,
If
today.
Yeah, they mentioned it during the game. They said if they win out, the Lions own the tiebreaker. So
Hmm.
it is what it is. I mean, there's a lot of people happy today, and I'm glad they're happy, but they still have to worry about the Lions. And we faced Josh Allen. We don't have to see another Josh Allen all season. I mean,
Man, so who we got left? We got to see Caleb one more time. We got to see um
Frisco,
Purdy,
Purdy,
yeah, Purdy, and then
and then
not. Then you got to see Darnold and
he's
Darnold and the boys.
there. He's no Josh Allen.
No, no.
So, so it's like, yeah, Dave said we both own the tiebreaker over the Eagles.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's like this. At the end of the season, we get some of our players back. We'll be fine. We'll be fine. Let's take a quick break, Foster. We'll get back and talk some more Lions. If you're watching, give us about 10 seconds. If you're listening, you're going to hear some wonderful ads. Yeah, it was another untimely turnover too that we had. Where
That was the other thing. Go ahead.
St. Brown never turns the ball over, and he got a catch, took a few steps, fumbled the ball. They got the ball, they scored. The problem is when you can't stop them on defense, you can't get the ball up because they're just going to score.
Yeah. Yeah, that catch was weird. I don't really put that too much on St. Brown. Because it wasn't really a ball carrier fumble. It was more of a continuation of him trying to get possession of the ball. I honestly feel like he caught it. He took 2 steps, but dude kind of had his hand on the on the ball the entire time. So it was one of those. It just was a continuation. It wasn't one of those where he was carrying it and they jarred it loose from him. So I don't know. That was a weird one. It was also weird because we had a face mask penalty on Zeitler on that play. So if it would have counted, it would have been it was a lose-lose situation. Even if we make that catch and he
I mean,
doesn't
how
fumble.
often do you fumble at the 40 and get a face mask against you while you're on offense and they get the ball at the 26? It's just
And then it was tacked on to the end of the on the end of the play. So that was we had a lot of things go wrong. If
we
we're
had
really
so many things go wrong. So many, like starting off 14-0, that fumble, missing a field goal, the onside kick attempt, all of these things, and the defense giving up so much to lose 48-42. I mean, you take it with a grain of salt.
I mean, we were down the whole game though. I mean, it looked better to end, but we
It
were
looked
down at
it
one
looked
point.
it
We
looked
were down
bad.
what, 3 touchdowns?
Yeah, it looked I think it was 21 35-14 at one point.
Yeah. Yeah, the St. Brown had that long. He had an amazing game. If you started St. Brown in your fantasy league, you did pretty good for yourself. I started Goff
What was the
and
numbers on
LaPorta.
St. Brown?
Ooh, I think he had 10 for 171, if I'm not mistaken. Let me
No,
pull
St.
that up.
Brown had 12 catches for 181 at one point.
Okay, 14 finished. Yeah, and that's when we really started putting the ball in there. He ended up with 14 for 193 with 1 touchdown. Yeah.
Okay. Now, how many? And Laporta had 111 yards, I
He
believe,
did.
7
He
catches.
he blessed my fantasy team as well. He had 7 for 111, which was nice to
Mhm.
see because he has been quiet this year.
Now, what was Goff's final numbers?
38 for 59, 494, 5 touchdowns,
He
0
threw the
picks.
ball almost 60 times. So
Man, if he had I don't want to say he would have sewn up the MVP had we come back and won that game, but it would have certainly in a win, it would certainly put him over Josh Allen, who I guess is the favorite. They said he's the favorite for MVP
yeah,
right now.
yep.
It's crazy.
I like the fight though. I like they were down 3 scores and they still fought. They still fought. They didn't give up. They could have rolled over. I like the fight. So it is what it is. The Lions are 12-2, and that was game 14 with 3 games remaining left, 2 away and 1 in the final the home finale in game 17. I think they just need to they can't let this loss cause another loss. So you can't go into Chicago feeling sorry for yourself. It's time to go. It's time to go to work. Get in the film room, check things out, and play Sunday like play with effort every single down. And you walk out of Chicago with a victory, and you forget about this loss. Forget about it.
Yeah, I really feel like we need to lay their burdens down at the altar after this last game. You know, Chicago is always tough to play in Chicago. They beat us pretty good last year in Chicago.
Yeah.
It was probably one of their shining moments of the year.
Mm.
So yeah, that's not going to be secondary is going to be tested yet again in that game, and we got to be able to run the ball. That really they controlled the time of possession, and they just put the secondary in a bad situation when you got a guy that can, I mean it forces the team to keep an eye in that backfield on those play actions because Knox and Kincaid
They ate.
like there was some wide open,
They were
and
eating.
that's one thing that you want to say fire our Aaron Glenn, but there was some very wide open players out there. I remember one play, I think it was Kincaid that had the one-handed catch because he was so wide open, and Allen was like, "I cannot miss this guy." So we kind of threw a little lollipop out there, and he had enough time. He had enough time to catch it with one hand, tap it, tip it to himself before he was even touched. So
It was
a
so
lot of broken coverages.
they made so many plays. They made so many plays, and you just can't win if another team is making that many plays offensively. They look like a juggernaut, and I can't speak enough on how good they were running the ball. I think Cook had a 41-yard touchdown run where they tried to grab where they
Yeah,
tried
we
to grab
grabbed his
the
hair, and then Adams made the most just poor attempt where he looked like he was trying to burp him. He just patted him on the back before he got to the end zone.
yeah,
He looks, I don't know, him and Quan Alexander. I ain't gonna lie,
they look
they were dogging us like, oh, those guys, you picking up these old wash guys. They looked a little washed out there.
they look a little washed there. They look a little out of
Seasoned.
place, man. They yeah, they exploited our linebackers in coverage today like I've never seen. Whether it's the tight end or the running back out of the backfield, they exploited, and they did that from the very beginning all the way, and it was almost like it was just it was just a work of art. They had a game plan, and the lines didn't adjust. They continued to play man to man on defense, and it was like live and die by man to man, and that was what was it. I didn't see much blitzing. I didn't see much zone. It was more like, okay, man to man. You got to beat us man to man, and they did. When they didn't beat us with the pass, it was Josh Allen with his legs, and it was just today was a bad display of football for the Lions. Bad display.
Yeah, I really think that I think we got outcoached, hate to say it, but they definitely knew where what area we lacked and they exploited it. I mean, there's no coincidence that their running backs accounted for 100 and nearly because the receivers really didn't. Amari Cooper didn't have a catch. Keon Coleman, I don't think had a catch.
Yes, he did. He had a 60-something yard catch in the first half.
That Oh, damn, I missed that one. Okay, so Keon. Okay, I did. Oh, that was that bomb.
It was the broken play bomb
Yeah.
where was it? I think it was it was Wilford.
Vildor?
Dildor, I'm sorry. Dildor. He was in coverage and
He was getting torched.
He lost sight of him, and Josh Allen broke to the right, and Keon started running towards the end zone, and he threw it to him and lofted it over his head. And it's like, bro, watch your man.
I mean, it's tough to guard on those broken plays. I really don't put those on the corners that much, just because it's really hard to guard a guy for 8 seconds.
You can't guard a guy that long. You can't guard a lot.
And then Keon Coleman's 6'4", Vildor is what, 5'9" or something.
Yeah, but he was totally lost in coverage though.
And he also he got away with a pass interference on a pass breakup in the end zone that should have been down at the 1 or either a touchdown or it was going to be a pass interference. But as far as the receivers are concerned, Mac Hollins had 1 catch. His shining play was the onside kick. Curtis Samuel had 1 catch for 1 yard.
He left with a concussion.
Was he hurt? Okay. Yeah, Shakur. He had 6 catches for 39 yards, but for the most part, it was the tight ends
and the running backs.
And the running backs. That was by design. I'm convinced
it was by design. That's why I can't do anything but agree with you when you said they were out coached, because they came in with a game plan and said we're going to beat them throwing the ball to the backs in the backfield and with our tight ends, and they did.
I mean, these guys were running receiver type routes. I'm like, how was the running back just out there looking like present day whoever? I don't even know. But
Foster, there was a play I got so pissed off. There was a play where third down, Terry Arnold is covering the tight end, and the tight end beats him downfield and catches like a 30-yard pass on third down. And it's like, bro.
Those tight ends are tough though. I mean,
they are
because they know how to, when you can run a good route and you can use your size to kind of box out. Like, I mean, it really wasn't bad coverage, but it was one of those where it was like you'd like to think that your one of your top corners could hang with a tight end, but
it's just the philosophy of it. You would hope your corner can cover a tight end on third down and make it difficult, but it was relatively easy.
Yeah, I don't even know how he ended up lined up against him, but yeah.
Well, it was a bunch formation.
Okay.
And the tight end kind of did a streak, and Arnold picked him up, and he ran past Arnold, and so it wasn't a boxing out thing. He ran past.
Yeah, it really wasn't. Yeah, he did kind of. Yeah, he beat him.
Got beat.
Yeah, he did get beat.
Yeah, so it's like, come on, man. We need you to make some plays on third down. That's the thing. Get off the field on third down. Got to get off the field on third down. That's just, you cannot give this man third down completions because he's going to burn you every time. They're going to score. If you can't stop the Bills or any other team on third down, they're going to score. And when you're decimated with injuries and stuff like that, man, you got to get off the field. Your defense has to get off the field, have some kind of confidence, rest. I guarantee you, they're soaking in hot tubs right now. They might be on oxygen because they played a lot of plays on defense. Like they drove down the field so often, it was crazy. 48 points. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
and they handled business in the red zone for the most part. They had one bad field goal kick.
But he nailed those other two. The other two that he needed, he nailed a 50-yarder. He could have nailed that from 60 in the fourth
Yeah,
quarter. So the last score they had, he nailed that one. That was from distance.
and that was big. That ultimately, especially after we missed ours, those field goals proved to be
And
vital.
I can't even fuss at a kicker missing a 52-yarder.
No, 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 no. Yeah, no.
I can't.
I think that's the first kick he's missed all year, or
First kick,
certainly.
it wasn't even close though. It was like if I would have kicked it.
That's
I
funny.
mean, I think it almost hit a fan on the sideline, man. It was wide.
Oh.
It's like looked like a foul ball at Comerica, man.
Yeah.
It was crazy. It was crazy. I mean, and as you can see, like even though we take losses serious, I mean, you can't be too mad.
No, no, it was
I mean,
tough. I
how many
mean, it
games?
was
11 games in a row.
yeah. We started the year what 1-1,
Yeah, we won 11 games in a row. We'll
won
be okay.
11 games. Yeah,
I think we'll be okay. I think it's okay to have a bad game, as long as it's not in the playoffs.
yeah. We were due. I mean, I didn't want to speak it into existence before the game started, but I mean, between the Bears game, Packers game, this game, we were due to come up short, and because you just can't win them all. Like we're a good team, we're
Yeah,
a very well coached team, but I mean, we're not like the dynasty like Patriot teams. Like we've
no,
been pretty eventually, um, playing guys like David Long. That's another guy that's borderline washed, but
he,
David
he
Long,
didn't have a.
Jamal Adams,
He,
Quan Alexander. We were due for it to catch up with us. What were you gonna say?
David Long didn't have a good game today either.
No, no.
Ah, boy, it's crazy. It's crazy. We have 32 people watching, as far as we know. And I just want to do this real quick. Just make sure y'all subscribe to Bleachers to Speakers. I know some of y'all are watching from Twitter, but subscribe to Bleachers to Speakers on YouTube and make sure you're following us on the aggregators there. For your audio fix. If you don't want to sit there and watch me and Foster, if you want to just listen to us on the ride to work, the ride after work, cleaning the house, whatever you do, you can find us on Spotify, YouTube Music, all those good places that have podcasts, and just type in Bleachers Speakers FFSN in your search. You'll see that logo that you see. Uh, you'll see the white, blue, and gray logo. You'll see that. Just follow us, make sure that notification bell is on, and download those episodes. Boss, how you feeling?
I'm all right. I'm just hoping that we can bounce back. We, like you said, I love the fight that we had. We made it interesting to the very end, and yeah, we just got to prepare and do better because the Bears are definitely going to. Of course, we need to see what they do tonight. We need them to play play
Not,
their best game. Well, yeah, certainly play your best game
not tonight.
tonight.
Not tonight.
That's tomorrow. So, that's the Packers that play it tonight.
The
Okay.
Packers play Seattle tonight.
Dang. See how ready I am to see the
Bears play the Vikings on Monday Night Football.
right. So,
You won't be able to watch it because you'll be at the Pistons game.
I'll be able to watch the Pistons game will be over by like 9:30 though. I think
Yeah.
I'll be able to watch the tail end of it.
Yeah, I'm gonna hold the fort down tomorrow. Just a shameless plug. We will be I don't know if we'll get that stream or not, but definitely I will be on the Central Division Showdown with my Central Division NBA colleagues, and we'll be talking basketball there. Foster will be at the game enjoying himself while I'm working. Ironic. Well, anyway.
Anywho.
I mean, we could talk all day about this loss, but I don't want to talk about this loss, man. You want to put a ball on this, Foster?
So there were 3 keys to the game today. Keeping Allen under contained with his as far as running is concerned and his ability to improvise plays. We did not do a good job of it. The other key to the game was turnover differential. We had a fumble. They took care of the ball. Third, run the ball. We did not run the ball. We had 48 yards rushing between Gibbs, Montgomery, and Goff ran for a first down today, didn't he?
I think Goff had 2 first downs that he ran. No, he definitely had one. The other ones wasn't. His escapability was on 10 today.
A little bit, but you did see him fold a little bit once it collapsed. And it was one of those things just in the back of my head, just not. It's really it just goes to show what a dual threat quarterback, how important and nice that is sometimes. Just think, we love Jared Goff. We chant his name at in any event, regardless of, you could be at a graduation and you probably hear his name get chanted. But yeah, Jared Goff he had 13. He still only had 13 yards rushing.
And that's
but
because the sacks take away. I think
I thought that was only in college that they counted the sacks. For
the sacks are basically,
they count against the rush.
For a quarterback, they're rushes.
Montgomery had 5 carries for 4 yards.
That never happens.
I mean, that's really hard. He averaged less than a yard a carry.
We've seen him drag people for 4 yards in a game.
Yep.
So
the third key of the game was running the ball, and we did not do that at all. But yeah, go ahead. Yeah,
I mean, you take in account, if you look at this loss, you have to look at everything. Bills were on fire offensively. The defense made plays at the very beginning of the game that kept them, that put them up 14-0, and they didn't have to look back at all. And poor execution as far as blocking, poor execution as far as trick plays and, like the onside kick, missing a field goal, all of this. Montgomery, 4 yards on 5 carries, all of this. And if you tell me that all of these things happened before the game, I say we're going to lose. We did. Now, do I think this is going to be a reoccurring thing? No. I don't think you'll ever see a game where Montgomery has 5 carries for 4 yards.
Bro, that was crazy.
Yeah, so I don't ever see a Lions team this caliber going down 21 points. Just don't see it happen. Yeah. We all know it can happen, but I don't see it happening no more the rest of the season. So let's get out of here, Foster. I want to remind everyone to please subscribe to Bleachers to Speakers on YouTube and make sure you follow us on the podcast aggregators. Make sure you hit that notification bell. Check us out. Have a great evening. And still go Lions.
Get your lick back. If a nugget on you something, ain't no chit chat. Better stay up out the way, don't get your shit splat. Stop letting shit slide.